The small business sector plays a critical role in South Africa's economy. Joining me this morning is my colleague Gerbrandt. Gerry, what is the state of the small business sector since the implementation of the lockdown?
Simpe, you're absolutely right. Small businesses play a critical role to South Africa's economy. About 90% of all formalized businesses are small businesses. 60% of our labor force are employed in a small business, and small businesses contribute about 30% to our total GDP. So it's absolutely vital that small businesses remain resilient during this crisis, but that's unfortunately not what has happened. So the financial service company Finfind did a study on the state of small businesses since the implementation of the lockdown in March 2020. And what they found was that 3/4 of small businesses experienced a drastic decline in their revenue since the implementation of the lockdown. And also by the end of 2020, they found that 43% of all small businesses in the country have closed down. They've permanently shut their doors and they're not going to reopen again. So that just shows you a clear picture of how devastating the lockdown has been on our small business sector.
So, Gerry, what are some of the main reasons for the wide-scale business closures that we've seen across the country?
So, Simpe, one of the main reasons that stand out that has really affected small businesses' survival rate during the lockdown is access to funding, or rather lack of access to funding and inadequate government support. Now, Finfind in their research was able to determine that 90% of small businesses that have applied for COVID-19 relief funding from the government, banks, and other donors were rejected. Also, when it comes to government support programs specifically, of all business owners that have applied for COVID-19 relief funding, more than half, or 50%, of small business owners said that they absolutely received no response from the government. 13% also said that they were notified by the government that their applications have been rejected, but no reason or justification was given as to why their applications were rejected. So how does the government expect small business owners to self-correct and to improve their funding readiness if they don't know where they went wrong during the application process? And now lack of access to funding and inadequate government support was also an issue highlighted by the latest report from the Auditor General in South Africa. Now, what they found was that inefficiencies in COVID-19 relief funding in government programs is the reason why so many small businesses have struggled to survive during the pandemic. Now, one of the examples they talked about was the Spaza Shop Support Program. Now, the Spaza Shop Support Program was established in April 2020, and it was established to support Spaza shops, general dealers, and traditional grocery stores in specifically villages and townships. However, by September 2020, the program received 9,000 applications and only 5,000 applications were approved. And that meant that of the 178 million rand that was budgeted for disbursement, only 18 million rand of that budget has been paid out so far. And this is highly problematic because when small businesses are in a critical financial state, they often don't have long to keep their doors open until help arrives. So any delays in the COVID-19 relief funding system is absolutely deadly for small businesses.
Gerbrandt, what should be done to ensure that small businesses survive during and after the pandemic?
So I think two things need to be done. On the one hand, The government needs to improve the COVID-19 relief funding process, get rid of unnecessary qualifying criteria such as expecting businesses to be BEE compliant. Also communicate with business owners about why their applications have been rejected so that they can self-rectify and get their affairs in order when they reapply again. Also make sure that identify weaknesses in the system and make sure that the COVID-19 relief funding programs have adequate resources and are adequately staffed in order to process applications. And then on the other hand, I think the government should focus on a post-COVID-19 recovery strategy. And what that requires is for the government to implement economic reforms that will help small businesses, entrepreneurs, and startups to prosper in the country. Now, that will require steps like removing harmful legislation, government red tape that make the cost of running a business very difficult and unaffordable, and also lowering the national minimum wage, which will make it more affordable to employ people. And when these steps are taken, we will be able to help our small business sector to recover and prosper.
Thank you, Gerbrandt. If you enjoyed watching this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to this channel. If you'd like to gain access to our analysis and advice, you can sign up for our 1-month free trial through the link in the description box below.